Hello everybody, I hope you are doing absolutely fantastic today. We will be building out a WhatsApp clone, but a very basic version of it, but it will contain everything from voice calling, maybe we'll also add read receipts, and we'll even add message reaction, right? We'll be able to send images, videos, and we'll even send YouTube URL and text messages, as well as a document. And then we'll also be importing our or have our users manage that user, not duplicate the chat creation, and we'll build all of this from scratch by not using anything that or any of the FlutterFlow templates. So with that being said, I think let's get started. If you're not familiar yet on how to create a project or how to connect your Firebase or set up Firebase in order to connect your project to your Firebase, then I would suggest heading down to the FlutterFlow documentation in order to do that. I am going to say this is going to be called WhatsFlow Basic. Now, before I even continue, I am busy building out a more advanced version of this application that will be up for sale, as well as all the custom code or the custom widgets that are going into it will also be up for sale. Now, during the process of building out this basic WhatsFlow application, I will showcase some of the custom widgets. You are more than welcome to reach out to me on my Discord channel, where the link is in the description below. You can reach out to me on my channel to see how we can go about you purchasing that custom widget. Now that we are done with the promotional part of things, let's get jumping into it. And we're going to create a blank project. Now I'm going to set up a custom theme. So this really doesn't matter. I'm going to leave it as such. I might just move it to here, which might be a little bit more accurate. We are going to set up Firebase. So I'm going to say next. Now I've already created my Firebase project. It's very important to note that I am already on the Blaze plan for this project, and that is because we will be making use of push notifications, and we'll also be having to create a cloud function to generate a unique Agora token. So that token will be used in order to initiate the call with the user. To do that, we're going to have to run cloud functions. In order to run the cloud function, we need to have Firebase on the Blaze plan. Okay, we're also going to have to enable authentication, and we're going to have to create a user collection, and then we can set a few things here. Now I'm going to have a landing page first of all, which will be the initial page. So landing page, create that page, and I'm also going to have, let's call this the chat home page. All right, create. Okay, let's connect to our project. It was successful, and we can then quickly generate our config files. Now it can take a couple of seconds for this to be done, but don't interrupt it, just allow it to run and generate those files. All right, and there we are done. We can now start building, right? Before I actually start, I do want to set up my theme, and because of that, I am going to pause and just quickly set up my theme, create my color schemes and all of that, and then we can take it from there. Perfect. So we can now see that I have gone ahead and set up a few other things as well, such as in the design systems, I've set this pull to refresh tile. I've also done my loading indicator, and I've set this to be material theme. I've set my typography and icons to be my primary font family needs to be Redex Pro, and my secondary font family needs to be Inter. And then of course the color schemes, I've created my color schemes. I've also added a few custom ones. Now I'm not going to do light mode, dark mode here. I'm just going to build out one version, which is technically the dark mode version, but that is what I'm going to do for this basic tutorial. And the advanced application does come with both the light mode and the dark mode, as well as managing those items. All right, so let's get jumping into this further. There's a few things that we do need to do, and that is to upload our project media. Now for me, I might as well just let me see, where is it? There we go. I have my dark background, right? And let's grab this icon for our actual icon. And I also went and I created a little animation, a Loti animation, which is for loading. Now you will see what it looks like. If you haven't ever used Loti, you can head to Loti files, right, .com, and you can either create a Loti yourself or you can download a Loti that is available. All right, so that's done. We can start doing a few other things. Now, one thing is the app assets, the splash screen. I am going to do this. Sorry, that. Now let's just do the splash screen like that. The launcher icon, that one. Adaptive icon, background type would be color. There we go. Looks good. All right, that's fine. Then navbar, I will be building out my own navigation bars. I won't be using any of this forward. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove that. So add bar on new pages. I don't want it to be added because I'll be building my own. So with that being said, I can go ahead and delete that. Perfect. Now, if we have a look at our users collection, we are missing a few things here, such as our about section, which we very much need and want. So we're going to say our about is this string value, right? And we can confirm that. And then also we want to check or have access to chat notifications because we want to know how many unread messages do we have. We also want to have call notifications. We're going to have a call management folder, and then also whether we are typing in a specific chat. To achieve all of that, we are going to have to create a few other documents. Now, I do like to start off with creating at least, just the basics of my backend that I will be using throughout the project. It just makes it easier to manage it. So I know that I'm going to have chats. I'm also going to have calls, and I'm going to have a collection, which will be user call management. So to do that, I'm going to head and I'm going to say user call management. So a new collection, I'm going to create it. And then I am going to start from scratch here. Now, I'm going to say that there needs to be an active call reference of document type reference of call. We will come and add this now. Let's first do an active, and this will be Boolean, right? Because we want to know whether the user is currently in an active call or not. The same with incoming. So we want to know whether we have an incoming call, so it can be displayed accordingly. Then, of course, something that I won't be handling video call requests or video calls inside of this tutorial. I will be doing a voice calling and with the Agora API. And if you haven't ever heard of Agora, Agora offers a WebRTC solution that you can integrate into your application. There we go. Now, Agora does have a very good start off package, which is the free. So if you have a look here, you can have a number of contacts per end user, which will be 100. Total number of registered users is unlimited, right? This is on a free version. And you can have a peak concurrent connections of 50, right? Now there are other things here as well that you can have a look at. This is actually under chat. We won't really be using the chat for this one. We'll more be using the voice calling. Now I believe that there is 10,000 free minutes. So if we have here, so call search, there we go. Usage by day, quality by day, usage. Let's just have a look. There is one where it stipulates that you have a certain amount of free calls. So let's just see, start the project. 2 million minutes, so unlimited of usage. This is very odd. So there are others as well. So contains 2 million minutes. I don't think this is really correct since it's a starter project, $0 per month with unlimited of usage. That just doesn't make sense. So I do think their documents or their price is currently slightly odd. So yeah, but you can definitely come and have a look at them. For me, my billing center, I don't have anything to pay currently. But if we go to my usage, you can see that you have a proper dashboard and you can specify, monthly, what was the usage. I can go and select a different time frame. So I can say from the 1st of June to now, I can see that I've had a total of 317 minutes of audio calling and also a total of 35 minutes of video calling. This was all just part of testing, and this was totally done for free. So absolutely brilliant, and it's a very good solution if you don't want to go the route of programming your own WebRTC server. You will need to have knowledge about creating servers, specifically WebRTC server, creating a stun server and a turn server, and then also need to know how to secure and certain ports on your router, right? But this will also mean that you will need to open ports, which can have a security vulnerability for you. So it's better just to make use of Agora for an MVP model. All right, so let's continue with our in-call, right? We're going to say whether we are in-call or not. And then we need to create a calls document. Now, in our calls document for now, I'm just going to specify user A. This is more just for me to be able to reference this document. So there we go. We've got user A. We've got user B. So document reference users. And then we can go here and say that the active call reference is of type document reference calls, right? And then we can come into our user document, and then we can say that our user call management document is document reference user call management, and that is it. Then we also want to know our call notifications. So this could be that we've missed a call or we've just finished a call, whatever the case may be. So we want to say that is a list. And now for building out our chats. So I'm going to create a collection called chats. I'm just going to say created by, which will then be of type document reference and chats. Confirm. We then can create also a sub collection that would be messages. So a sub collection and of chats create, and we can say created by is equals to document reference users. Confirm. So now we have our chats, we have our calls, user call management, and users. Now we also need to manage our chat notifications. So we want to know how many messages we have that's unread. So we're going to say messages and is a list. And then of course, we want to also specify if we are typing in a specific chat document. This is probably not the best way to do it, but if you are building a basic and you want to make use of what FlutterFlow has to offer with limited custom coding, this means no custom cloud functions or custom function, no need to go and add other things or custom actions inside of your main dot, then this is a very good way of managing it. Perfect. Now that we have set all of everything that we require for users, we can start building out our actual application. So we can now start to work on our UI. Now for this part one, we are only going to be completing our sign up process. So from the moment we hit the landing project or landing page to when we sign up or sign in. So we're going to be using phone sign up or phone sign in. So from the moment we sign in to doing the OTP, so verifying the mobile number, then updating our own details, managing whether if there's already details existing, and then also going to our homepage. So for that reason, I'm going to create a new folder that's called onboarding, right? And we're going to put all our pages relating to onboarding in it. I'm also going to add a folder that's called components, and then any components that we build out throughout the application will go into that folder. We're also going to have a folder called core pages, and then another folder called settings pages, create folder. So our chat homepage can go into our core pages, and our landing page can go into our onboarding. Now we can delete this folder that was just pages, and then we can start on our onboarding. Now we are gonna have to create or add a container in here. Now for the landing page, I don't want to use a safe area, and then we're gonna set this container to be width infinite and height infinite. Now if you don't know what safe area is a safety space that the device uses. So if you have to display the device, so I'm going to display that device there. If you have safe area enabled, then it would do that. So this camera doesn't use any of that space. This goes the same for at the bottom, so there's no details that are cut off or any information that you can't see. Now I do tend to manage this myself, and therefore I am just going to say no safe area. All right, perfect. Now inside of this container, I want to add a column. And before I do anything else, I also want to set my background image to be asset. And now we've already uploaded it, and there we go. We now have our chat or our application background. And now for the fun part. This column we are going to put in the center firstly. And then we can maybe say that we're going to have an item spacing of 20 in between. And then we're going to add in a text. I'm going to add in another column that's going to have its own text block. And then also a row with a button. Right? Just like that. Now this row I'm going to shove to be on the side. And then if we start looking at these values, then I think that I also want to give a padding around my main column. Yeah, I want to give a main padding around my column, which will be type 20. So this column here, I'm going to say, whoops, padding on the left should be 20, padding on the right should be 20. And now we can start building out our section here. Now this is going to say welcome, welcome to FlutterFlow. Perfect. And this one is going to be bold, right? And it's going to have 20 as a font size. Then for our text here, you know, when we look at WhatsApp and what WhatsApp does, they have this thing about by continuing, you agree to the terms and conditions of WhatsApp. So for mine, I'm saying by continuing, you agree to the terms and conditions of WhatsApp Flow and that this app should only be used for testing and educational purposes. There we go. Right, since this won't be a production deploy, and I'm also not planning on deploying this application. So let's go on continue. And we want to make this nice and tertiary. So it looks like that. And our text color, we're going to set that to be primary background. And we can make it nice and bold. Let's say extra bold. No, let's just make it bold. Brilliant. Okay. So there we go. We have our WhatsApp being created. I do, however, want to set my text here to be nice and center. And then we can continue. So once we click on this continue button, we need to navigate to our add phone number page, right? So to do that, we need to create a new page. I'm going to create a blank, and we're going to call this the add phone number page, right? Create page, and we can say no to the safe area. We can wrap this widget in a container that we're going to expand all the way, and then we're going to set our background image to be asset, and there. We're not going to be using this image a lot, so once we are actually logged in, we'll just be having a plain background, similar to what the new WhatsApp is. It's just a very plain dark background. Now, to give you an example of what we will be building out, let me quickly show you. So this is what the design will look like once we are logged in. We'll have our little flow here. Now, it's important to note, so that you can see, we'll have our groups and create a new group, new broadcast, link devices, start messages, settings. So it's all the menu items, just the same as the real WhatsApp, although for this basic version that we'll build, we'll only be connecting a few of these items, right? Also, in the advanced one, I am building in an AI feature, and you can also search for chats, very similar to what WhatsApp does. You'll see I did change some of the theming. It's very close to WhatsApp is, but I did make it a little bit more of my own, right? We also then have our updates, communities, and our calls, right? Now also, if we go to our chats in the full application build, you can see that I'm importing my contacts, and then I'm referencing these contacts to see if they have an account with or with WhatsApp Flow. So if they have an account, then we can go to information and we can see them, or we can call, or just go ahead straight and start a chat. Right now, this isn't finished yet. This is still in progress. This is an older version of the application that's pretty much slightly out of date. This application will come with sending voice recordings and audio recordings and all those things. And that is about it. Okay, I just wanted to showcase this for you. With that said, we'll be testing a lot, perhaps also on my phone, in order to see that everything is functioning the way that it should. All right. Let's start building out our add phone number. Right now, we're going to be creating, I'll be adding in some custom functions. I will provide you with the code to those custom functions. The link to it will be in the description below, and you can just head to each and single one of them. All right. Now, in our column, I am again going to give content padding of 20. So on the left, I'm going to say 20, and on the right 20, and then of course item spacing is going to be 10. Now we need to have a row inside of here, right? That's going to have a column with 2 text items, and we can put that as such. Let's add two little text items here, and the first text item is going to say sign in. Sign in. Now we can go ahead and make this pretty nice and bold text, and then also change the font size to be 20, right? We want that to be nice and big. Then for the second one, we are going to say confirm your number to continue. Confirm your number to continue, right? And then also we can keep this as 14. However, I do want to make it nice and semi-bold. Let's make sure that looks decent. I am happy with it. Yeah, I'm happy with it. All right. So now that we have that, we now also need to create our field where we're going to select our number, right? So we need to select which country we will be calling from so that we can get our dial code. So to do that, I am going to change this to be primary background. I'll even set the border to be primary background and even add a border width of 2 and make the border 12. We can set this height to be none. And then we can add in our first thing, which will be a row, right? Now, this row is going to have a start spacing of, let's say, 10, because we're going to add in a circle image that's going to show the flag of the country selected. So this diameter is going to be 36 for the circle image. That will suffice. And then we're also going to add in a drop-down menu. So drop down. There we go. Perfect. Now I do want to go ahead and change these colors. So the full color will be primary background as well as the border color. I do want to change the icon color to be tertiary, and then we can change the hint text to say select your country, right? Let's see, everything looks nice. I am happy with that. All right. Before we start connecting this, let's first just build out the full UI and then we'll come to connect it. So there we go. We're going to add in another container, but this time it's going to be a fixed height of 56. Our color is going to be primary background and border can be 12, right? And then we're going to add in a row. Now, the first thing we can do is the start spacing to make that as 10. Then we're going to add in a text file, which for now we can just say is +1. And then add in a text field. There we go. Now I'm not going to add any outline to it. So there can be none. And then autofocus needs to be turned off. The keyboard type can be phone. And we definitely want to set a mask to be this of numbers. And a submit type can be next. There we go. All right. We're going to come up and we're going to change our hint text to maybe say 205-555-7896. Very random number, I know. What we can do is perhaps do that. Right, so it looks similar to what it will look like once we start typing in our number. And that's looking good. All right, the next thing will be to add another row. And this row is also going to be main axis alignment to the right. And then we're going to add in a button. And this button is going to be of color tertiary. And it's going to be get OTP. Right? We can change this text color to be primary background. And that is looking Great. Do want to change that to be nice and bold. Perfect. All right, we'll come back to add in the functionality to this shortly. I do just want to finish off with building the entire UI. So now we can come to the create profile page, or let's just do this. So create profile page. All right, we're again going to remove the save area from there. We're going to add in our column. So well, first we're going to wrap our widget in a container. We're going to expand it all the way, right? And then we can set our column. We're going to set the start spacing to be 50. And it will be scrollable. And then of course we need to have an item spacing of, let's say, 50 in between our items. Now this is going to start all the way at the top. And then the background image for our container, again, needs to be our background. So now that we have that done, we can start with our things. I'm actually going to make the start spacing more about 80. Because we also want to have some additional spacing before we start seeing our first item here. So the first item is going to be a container, right? And that starts out perfectly. So we're going to make this diameter of 150. We can remove the background from that one since we'll be adding in a stack. Now this container is there in order to contain everything that we put in the stack. Since we'll be putting in items wanting to space the stack or align the items inside of the stack at different places, we need to contain the stack, otherwise it will expand throughout the screen. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to add inside of the stack is another container. And we can also set this diameter to be 150. We're going to give it a border color of primary and then a border width of 2. Now it is going to have an icon in it, and this icon is going to be nice and big, so we can say 130, even perhaps 140, and it's going to show a person, right? Because this is the container that we'll be seeing if we don't have any profile or profile picture set yet. Okay, we can actually then just duplicate. We'll just remove this icon, duplicate, and then duplicate. Except this one we'll give 40. No, maybe we'll do a 50. And its alignment will be there at the bottom. That's perfect. And it's then going to have an icon. Of 35 with a camera. Like this. And we can make this camera to be primary background. The container itself can have a full color of tertiary. And then we can continue. Now this border color is also going to be tertiary, and this one is going to be tertiary. Perfect. Then it will look something like this. Now each one of these containers is going to have a different value depending on what is set. So for example, this first container will be seen, the one with the icon, will be seen if there's no photo URL set, and we also haven't selected a profile picture that we would like to upload. So this container will have a background image value that will be network and will be set to the authenticated user photo URL. All right. Then our actual item here, so the container on this one will have a background image that will be set to uploaded local file. Now to get that uploaded local file, we need to create an action here, which will be upload save media, right? And we're going to save it to a local widget state. It can be either camera or gallery. And we can then just leave it as such. Right, now finally, this one we're going to set to be of uploaded file, and it's going to be set to that uploaded local file that we just created. Okay, and then we need to start setting some conditional visibility. That conditional visibility will be set whether this uploaded local file is set or not set. So if it is set, then we want to see it. Otherwise, we don't want to see it. For this one, which was set to now to our photo URL, will only be set should our authenticated user photo URL be set. So I need to go single condition, authenticated user photo URL is set. There we go. So if our photo URL is set, then we will see it. If we then select a new image, then we will see this one. And we'll always see this icon, even though it's not clickable. As soon as you click on it, it will just trigger this action. All right. So we've added our first item here, and we can now continue. We can add in a row. Now, this row is going to start off with having an icon, right? We can also specify that the start spacing needs to be, let's say 8 and end spacing 8. And then we can add in our column. Now, our column is, first of all, gonna let's see. It's going to contain a text field, right? That we can wrap the widget in a row because we want to have it expanded all the way. So to expand it all the way, we're going to have to expand this column to use the full space. And then we can do our row, right? We might actually be able to, yeah. So our row is now there, and we can go to our container and expand it all the way. I don't want any underline, not unless we are focusing it. So I'm going to outline it, and then it would say label text to be name, and the initial value would be that of authenticated user display name, right? There we go. That one is set. Then we also need another text value in here. Now, to make sure that we align this correctly, I'm going to take this and shove it to the side. Now, it's important to note that there is a little value here, or padding, right? I am going to remove that because I'll be handling the padding from inside of our column or our row, yeah, our row here, and I'll make that item spacing to be 8, so we'll always have it. Now for this text, we need to give it maybe an additional, let's say 10 or 12, right? And 12. Let's see our, let's have a look here, border. There's a possibility there should be a margin, yeah, although I don't see it. All right, so it was never set, that's fine. Okay, this text will remain text and the capitalization would be words. Perfect. Okay, now I also want to set some additional value here, so you know, just some information to the user, and that would be this name is not your actual name or anything, so we can make that maybe slightly smaller, let's say 11, and it will then look like this. This name is not your username or PIN. This name will be visible to your FlutterFlow contacts. All right. Then finally, we want to add in another icon. And this icon is going to be a different color. We can even make this a nice tertiary, and it's going to be our edit thing, like that. This one we can make primary color, and it's going to be person. Such. Great stuff. Now I'm going to do, I'm just going to copy this entire or duplicate this entire row, and then just remove this text value. This one I'm going to set to be information. So this guy here, that's great. I do think I want to make this slightly lighter. I'm going to copy that out. I'm going to go to my icon here and also add that in, and that looks good. Now this is going to be set to be the authenticated user record reference about section, right? And then also the label text needs to say about. And that is what our application will look like before we continue to our actual home screen. So our button is going to be full color of tertiary, and it's going to say save with text color of primary background, and that's good. Let's see, shimmer. We can maybe add a shimmer to it of primary, and duration 2000, no delay, and loop animation. Let's make it more to the white. Cool. Okay. That's good. And then we can continue. Right. Finally, we need to verify our mobile number. So if we are done adding our add phone number, we click on get OTP, then we also need to verify that this phone number is valid. Right. So we're going to go to add page, and we're going to say verify mobile number and create page. Now I'm going to delete this. I'm going to add in a container. I'm going to expand it all the way. I don't want to use any safe area, and we can remove the background color since we'll be setting a background image of asset and our background image. We can then add in our container, and as always give a padding of 20 on the left, padding of 20 on the right, and then we can start building out. The first thing we're going to add is a nice row. This row is going to have a column in it with 2 text fields again, so duplicate it. Now I'm actually, what I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to copy this entire row, go to my verify mobile number page, do this, paste it, right? And I'm going to edit this out to say verify mobile. And then finally it will say enter OTP sent to, and then we need to do a combined text value. To be honest, we're going to add a page parameter which is going to be of mobile number, which is going to have a string value. Confirm, it will be required. So we can go ahead, copy this, go into text, say combine text, paste it, and then add our mobile number value. Right, perfect. Okay, we then want to add in PIN code. Right, so we now have our little row there, and we then want to create another column. So let's put in a column. Inside of this column, we're going to add in a PIN code. And then we're going to add in a row here with some text that will be pushed all the way to the Right. Actually, what we can do is add in a button, and all we'll do is we'll make this button transparent. So button will be transparent and the elevation will be 0. Now the text color is going to be tertiary and it's going to be extra bold and it's going to say wrong number with a question mark. Right. Now I did forget to specify some item spacing on this column, which we need to set now, and that would be just of 10, which would suffice. All right, we don't want to add any hint text. We'll do an autofocus, that's fine. We can perhaps do an autofill. And we're going to say active fill color is tertiary. Cursor color can also be tertiary. I want to make these boxes to be 40 and 40. I think I'm happy with that. Okay. Alrighty. Then finally, we also need to add in another row, and this will be a row to specify or a request that the pin be sent again should we not have received it. So to do that, I'm going to add in some text, and then I'm going to add in another button. Now this button is going to have no height, but it's going to be tertiary color, and I'm going to give some button padding of 12 and change this to be 14, the text. We can make it nice and bold, change the text color to be black, and then say send again. Right. I am going to give some item spacing of, let's say, 10, and our text will be didn't receive OTP question mark. And we can make this also nice and bold. Now I'm very happy with this, and we will continue setting this up shortly. What we do need to do now is continue on. Now, since I am not actually having this as a button, I can just remove that so that we can align our fields. Now, that being said, I'm going to do it as such. And that's good, yeah. So have it nice and big, nice and close. All right, we basically have created everything now that we require in order for our application to be connected. We just now need to specify certain things. So for this on continue, I just also want to add that same little shimmer animation. So we're going to say shimmer, loop the animation, put it on 2000, right? No delay, and we can change this color, right, to be tertiary and be there, such. Let's preview it. There we go. All right. The same with the verify mobile number. I'm not going to actually add that to the send again, since it will just automatically be done. It's just add phone number. Let's add our animation there too. So a little bit of a shimmer. Say duration needs to be 2000, and we can loop that animation. Actually, I like this gray. That actually looks very nice. So let's go to our create profile, shimmer button. Let's add the same value there. The landing page as well. Shimmer button. Let's do that. Perfect. All right, let's actually then just do that here too. So add animation, shimmer, leave it as that, make it 2000 and loop the animation. Preview it. There we go. Okay. Now for our landing page, we want to navigate to our add phone number. To do this, we're going to slide right, do it 250, and we're not going to allow back navigation. Then on our create profile or add phone number page, we now need to create our custom functions. And the first custom function that we are going to be creating is to get a list of countries, right? So to get a list of countries, we're going to click here on define options. We're going to go to custom functions, create a new function, and we can call this function the country list function. So country list, and then we can paste all of this. I just want to grab it here. So return countries such. It's gonna be a list. We're gonna add an argument. Oh wait, it's not nullable, and oh wait, there's no arguments to be added. Perfect. So country list, we can save this function and we can confirm it. So there we have it. We now have our own little country list. Okay, I do want to set the default value to say Canada, and then we need to create another custom function for our circle image. Now we are going to create a new function, and this function is going to be on this path. So custom functions, create new function, and we're going to say get country flag from country. We're going to say country name, right? So the selected country. We can leave it as nullable, and we're going to return an image path as such. Perfect. Ah, man, what did I do? Hold on. Let's grab that out. There we go. And we are ready. Now, if you don't know what this function does, essentially it's just an entire, or it's a JSON, so in JSON structure, and it has the country name, right, that we will be querying. So if country name is equals to null, return null, otherwise final country info JSON. So we're going to fetch, if we pass in, let's say Canada, then it's going to go through this list until it finds Canada. Then it's going to tell Canada, okay, we want to get the code CA from this value, right? And then at the very bottom here, we are saying the final country code, so this code, so the final country code is equals to country info JSON, the country name, right? Code, the value there. And then we're saying if country code is not equals to null, so if there is a value, so there's a country code, then we're going to say the country code needs to be in lowercase. So that CA, we're turning that into a lowercase CA, and then we're passing it into this string. So we're going to return this flag https flagcdn.com, and then this country code in lowercase with a .png. If you go to this site, all the country flags are added there, and they are added with a specific code inside of the URL. So that is all that we need to do. So we can say function. Function is empty or cannot be passed. Okay, hold on. It's going to complain because I edited it out there. Let me just copy this, paste it now. There we go. And then this country name, we're going to get this from the widget state and the drop down, and we can confirm. We can make this to be cached and as such. Perfect. Then another one is this text field, right? And what we need to do is we need to get the dial code from our country. So to do that, we're going to go to our text, right? And we're going to create another custom function that is going to be called get dial code from country. Get dial code from country as such. Okay. And then again, we're going to be passing in our country name, and it can be nullable. It's essentially the same block of code, just instead of getting, the code from this JSON data, we are going to be getting the dial code from the data and just returning that. Okay, so yeah, return the country dial code. All right, so we can save this function and we can pass in the country name from our widget state dropdown. And for the UI builder, we'll just say +1. Default value will be +1. And also our circle image, what we can do is we can say our default value. So we can go into our function here. Go all the way down. We can copy this entire string out like this. Close it. Value. And then just say CA. Confirm. Wait, hold on. End. Confirm. There we go. And then we have our Canadian flag, right? We also said here that the initial option would be Canada, and then we have our text field, and we can now continue. So now on our button, we'll come and do this custom functions check soon. And I first want to do this. So on our button, we want to say phone sign in, right? And we want to sign in with a combined text, and the first value will be, again, that custom function. We want to get the dial code from country. Going to grab drop down or widget state, drop down, and we want to add text. Going to grab our widget state and our text field, confirm. And then we can go to our verify mobile number page. Now I also want to grab the same entire variable there, and I'm going to paste it here. Perfect. Let's have a look. Phone SMS code verification page. Okay, yeah. All right. So I was slightly delayed. Okay. So now on the PIN code, we want to verify. Needs to verify SMS code. Yes, I'm well aware. So we're going to open this, and on completed, we want to add an action. This is going to be verify SMS code, and the number that we're verifying, or the SMS code that we are verifying, will be from widget state, PIN code, and confirm. There we go. Now we also need to navigate, right? We'll be navigating to our create profile page. We won't be allowing back navigation, and we'll maybe do a slide up or a slide scale, yeah, with 250. Perfect. Just like that. For the wrong number, we need to be able to navigate back or back to our add phone number page. So we're going to go to our wrong number. We're going to click the add action, navigate to add phone number page. Don't allow back navigation, and slide left or slide down, right? And do a 250. Then for the send again, we are going to do an add action, and we're going to say phone signing. Phone number is mobile number, and verify mobile number, passing in that mobile number. All right. Now that that's all done, we can head to our create profile page. Now, if you remember, we've now already set our little upload file here. So we've already done one part of this and already connected it. All we now need to do is do our save button. And for the save button, we're going to first have to upload file. So we're going to open up, and on tab, we're going to say, do a conditional statement. So let's delete this action. We're going to do a conditional statement. So it's going to be of type single condition. Widget state uploaded local file is set, right? So if the user selected a file or an image that they would like to set as the profile picture, then we are going to upload that to our database. So Firebase, upload type to Firebase from uploaded media, widget state uploaded local file. Perfect. All right. Once that is done, we want to update our document. So update document, and we're going to update our authenticated user record reference, and we're going to set our photo URL to be from variable widget state uploaded file URL 2, right? Then for this one, I'm just going to add an action, which is going to be a delay, and it's just more to waste some time. So I mean, that delay can literally be 1 millisecond, and then we're going to start doing another conditional action. And what we want to do is we want to do a check to see if the user, so authenticated user, if they have a user call management document set, right? So if it's set or not. So if it is set, then we just want to update our document. So I'm just going to grab this. So copy action, delete, paste, and instead of photo URL, we're going to do display name from variable, and we're going to set this to be widget state and name. Going to add a field, and we're going to do our about section. About section from variable and widget state about. Perfect. Right. Finally, if user call management is not set, then we want to create a document of user call management, and we're going to pass in our or create active. All of these values, we'll just set this all to be false. We can delete that one. All of this will just be set to false, and we can say manage call management. All right, and then finally we can copy action, we can paste it here, and then add one field, which will be the user call management that will set to this action output, call management document and reference. Confirm. So once all of this is done, we can finally navigate to our chat homepage. There we go. All right, let's go there. We're not going to do allow back navigation, and we can then immediately do slide up of 250. Perfect. All right. Let's do quickly Firebase storage setup, because we need to deploy some security rules for our Firebase storage. Perfect. And let's just also set some security rules for our database. For our users, we'll be doing authenticated users, right? Authenticated user record reference. Calls will be authenticated users. The same with chats. And well, chats will actually be tagged users, and we'll be tagging them using, if we go into chats here, we can say users. So it will be of document type reference users, which will be a list, right? So for chats, we can say tagged users, and the option would be users. We can save tagged users, users, save, tagged users, users, save, and there we go. All right. Then this will be authenticated users, and we can deploy. Right, deploy all of our security rules, and then check our custom functions. Okay, and we can test our application. Alright guys, so what I've done is I've loaded the application in my mobile device. It seems that FlutterFlow might be down with their test chamber online. So I decided just to run a local build on my phone, and I can continue. Now there is some overflow here. We will come and fix that quick. Actually, let's do that now. So add phone number. Let's go to our container. So instead of that, right, we can say that the width, max width can be 95. That's it. Even that is too much. Let's say 90, let's say 5. Okay. Yeah, all right, let's do that. If we now have to restart this test mode, then it would look better when it comes to this overflow here. Just give it a second just to load. While we wait for this, I just want to show you that I have a gallery picker. So where you can go to your gallery, it's custom built, so it imports all your device widgets. This one currently is set so that you can't select multiple, but you can select multiple items. Okay, wait, our application is quickly opening here. I'll come back to that now. So as you can see, it then also opens inside of an image cropper. I can close this image out, extend this image cropper to wherever I want it, right, manipulate the image and then crop it. Now all of this is fully customizable for yourself, including changing the theme colors and that sort of thing, and it will also come with explanatory videos, right? So it's a nice thing. You can select your image again. Let's go in there, go to pictures, maybe select let's say this one. So there we go, and I maybe want to zoom in there on his eye, crop there, crop it. And there we go. So we managed to crop out on that image. And all of this is for sale. You can reach out to me on my Discord channel that you can find in the link, or the link is in the description below. And then it will come also with explanatory video in order for you to implement it inside of your own application. Right, let's continue. I'm going to have it on Canada, so it seems it's still overflowing there. I should probably do this. Okay, so that's why. I'm just going to lower this width to be about 250, right? And then just extend it like that. That should suffice. I can even just make it 200 and then extend it. 200 and extend it. Let's quickly reload. There we go. All right, now that looks a lot better. Wait, you can't see my device. There we go. All right, so we can now see that we can select a multitude of different options here for when it comes to where we want to be. If we're Zimbabwe, it updates with the flag as well as the number. Select the Solomon Islands, and so we go on. Now I am going to make this available to you, right? And you can find this code in the description in the link below. This is just very basic custom function to get a country code and the country name. So there we go. Let's get our OTP so we can test our application. There we go. We are verifying our mobile number 100%. Now I've already tested this out and everything is functioning the way that it should. We can go in, maybe select a different browse, go to gallery, albums. Now I see this is the reason why I developed that custom gallery. It's just so that it's directly to your images, seeing your albums. You can go and scroll through your albums and all of that, right? So let's go click on save and let's see. Perfect. So we managed to create our account and there we are on our home page. Now, since we are done with this version or part 1 of the application, we will be doing in part 2 of the application, be building out our main UI for all our sections. So that would be chats. I probably won't do in this one updates and communities for this basic tutorial, although updates and managing communities, I might do communities and group chats, and maybe I will do a basic for updates with what FlutterFlow has to offer. But all those advanced features will be included in the advanced application that will be up for grabs.